I don't know if this will be an actual review or what the title I'm gonna end up with, but when it comes to watching My Hero Academia, I recommend people to wait for Season 2 to come out. I'm saying this out of my experience with My Hero Academia because I did have a written review which was mostly negative, but my opinions did a 360-degree turn once I experienced more of the manga. And this is not a conversation of which version is superior, adaptation or source material. What made the difference for me is the content after the first arc, which is found in the manga. But now in 2017, that manga-only stuff will be animated in Season 2, which will offer more material to judge it on. Let's look at this from a different angle. Season 1 has covered 2.5 volumes of manga, and there's still a lot more left. So would it be an accurate criticism to judge the entire series on those 13 episodes? Out of the 50s or 100 episodes it will eventually have. I mean, look back at the days of early Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, Naruto, and One Piece. Are the first 13 episodes an accurate representation of the entire thing? Even with many different opinions on these series, I think we can all agree that the early stuff was not as engaging compared to its other arcs. From another point of view, at some point in your life you must have encountered a series, a movie, or franchise of any medium that you weren't interested in. But there's also the possibility, no matter how good a series gets, you probably still won't like it. Not every show is for everyone. Or the third option, you come across an anime that you're not sure if you like it or not. There are times when a series clicks with you, and sometimes it's the first episode. Other times it takes longer to develop a connection or a favoritism with a new anime you're watching. But the worst situation you could end up in is the stage of uncertainty. I'm sure you experienced this before. You're watching or reading a lengthy series and you're thinking, I don't hate it, but I don't really like it either. Should I keep watching more episodes or should I be checking something else? And I think My Hero Academia is that type of series for a lot of people. Or other times you're probably looking for something specific in the wrong type of show. The standard of shonen has been changing, which is being less on actual combat and more of something else. Since I think Shonen Jump is going through an identity crisis, or trying to figure out a new market for themselves. In this case, My Hero Academia is about learning to become a superhero, while action, aka shonen battles, is reserved mostly for villain confrontations, and that kind of comes and goes in this series, but this piece of info may interest you if you're searching for fight scenes. The problem that I assume puts people off My Hero Academia is probably Izuku, and the arc itself, which is the superhero origin story. I think Mike Matei said it best when discussing superhero movies and the reboots. Usually when a reboot occurs, everyone has to sit through the origin story, which people gradually become familiar with to the point of annoyance, such as Spider-Man and Batman films. However, it's a necessary piece that contributes to the story, but I do agree with his statement that all the real good stuff occurs in the sequel, since it goes beyond the origin, new territory that we haven't seen. While My Hero Academia does its own great spin on the subject, it's still an origin story. Season 2 will do more than focus on Izuku, as we'll see more villains such as the hero killer Stain, more focus on the other superhero classmates Ida and Todoroki, and we managed to get our fill of story from the personal conflicts of these trio of characters, shonen tournament battles via sports festival, and more superheroic content with our new villains and inside of the superhero society. In contrast to Season 1, which focuses solely on Izuku, and I think that bored a lot of people, but what upsets me is people seem to overlook that Izuku is a bullied kid. What we're seeing in Season 1 is Hajime no Ippo. Bullied kid meets extraordinary man, and said man invites bullied kid into a new world where he improves himself to become greater, and to overcome his own fears. In other words, standing up to the bully. But this is not an Ippo-only thing, as we've seen similar stories elsewhere like the Karate Kid. And honestly, Izuku's win and lose ratio is about the same as Gon Freak's. He went through a lot of losses, yet people still liked him because he wasn't bullied. Well, not from the very beginning. What we're seeing with Izuku is Peter Parker, an intelligent boy who gets picked on to the point where Bakugo, the bully, his Flash Thompson, or maybe in this case his Eddie Brock, is telling Izuku to jump off the school and kill himself. But there's another piece of story material that we should sympathize with Izuku, and that is like the tags of gangsta. Izuku is handicapped. He wasn't born with a quirk. I gotta give credit to Merlin the Mighty to really notice this feature. In this society, where almost everyone has some sort of quirk, Izuku is a special ed kid. That's why everyone in his class picks on him, because he's the one that's different. He's the freak of society. This is the opposite of the X-Men. In academia, the mutants are the ones picking on the normals, the quirkless. And this is where I get pissed off. My initial impressions of My Hero Academia is Izuku becoming a hero without a quirk, but then he gets one being one for all. Just like the Disney movie Sky High, I got mad because I thought it ruined the whole moral of the story. But in time, I got over it. I was really mad about this and questioning whether this was a good idea or not, but then I found out, with this encounter, there would be no All Might. But it also works because it's not a guaranteed victory. He still struggles with his powers because it hurts him, much like Shizuo Iwajima and Gon throughout most of Hunter x Hunter. Izuku keeps finding ways to improve himself, plus he has a brain and All Might isn't holding his hand throughout the ordeal. Izuku has to figure things out from either studying under different teachers or coming up with his own answer. This has gotten to a breaking point in the current chapters where it clearly states Izuku has to earn the right for this power. So his struggles with the bully Bakugo only enhance his situation, which is about growth and facing your fears like Jonathan Joestar and other characters in Phantom Blood. Izuku has a lot of good things going for him, and fuck, this is what it means to be a growing boy. That's shonen, yet for some reason, no one is interested in his story because everyone wants to see overpowered characters like in One Punch Man, the only other superhero series, which is not true. Obviously, both series cover different types of superhero themes, one being about maturity and developing responsibilities, and the other is a superhero figuring out a midlife crisis that's sprinkled in humor. I'm working on a top 50 list of superhero anime and manga, which will help increase awareness of other types of heroes and villains, so let me get back to work. And once again, I recommend people to wait till Season 2 comes out, so you should have about 26 episodes to judge it on. As many manga readers of My Hero Academia know fully well, there is a lot of stuff to cover in the future, and it will probably be 2020 so I can see United States of Smash. So until next time, I'm the Anime Hero, and I review anime so you can enjoy it.